Okay, I got the recording going a minute early today. We'll see if anybody's gonna hop on today. Obviously, schedules and things like that are still a concern. We have people all across the world, so the time zones are a little wacky. And even on my time zone, a lot of people are busy at this time. So we've already had this discussion, but I'm going to be investigating more times, especially come January. So starting off this live Q&A with a couple announcements. The first one is that a lot of things coming up in January. As you know, we're here in the month of December. We've got, some holiday craziness going on over here. We got Christmas. I think most people are out there celebrating Christmas. Not every country, of course, but I think most of the people in this group. The idea is it's busy. Oh, I see Matt. Okay, Matt just hopped in. Let me pull up Matt here. Matt is on his way. Come on, here he is.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. You're probably going to be the only person today, but it's great because I get to show you off.
If so, no big deal. We don't have to continue. I was just really coming to support you, so whatever.
I appreciate it. No, thank you. Today I was starting off with an announcement two things. One is, and I'll finish out what I was saying to anybody who's watching the replay, is that in January, of course, we're here in the month of December, Christmas, times. I've been having discussions with people about time zones regarding this particular call. And probably starting in January, I'm going to have at least one more, maybe more opportunities for these live calls each week at different times in the day, because I don't think this particular time is, if I had to pick one time, this may be like on the less ideal side for most people. So
yeah, I can imagine.
It's hard to pick the one that works for everybody, but no, with today also, so that was the first announcement. The second one, and I'll make an additional note about this. As members come in, one-on-one onboarding calls are part of that process. But also to kind of make up for this month, I want to make sure there are people that have asked me about future lessons. Not a thing yet in this membership, but I also want to offer another one-to-one call to anybody who's aware of watching this right now. And maybe we've had that conversation come January, because, we're kicking off 2025. It's going to be like goal setting and like what you want to do with your voice, and a good opportunity to hop back on a quick call and, lay some groundwork of what we might want to do together. So for anyone else who's watching, Matt here is actually one of my one-to-one students as well. So, hey, maybe take a quick second, share a little bit about yourself, because you've got some music posted. Where could they find you? That kind of stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I go by Matthew Dillon Music on Instagram and TikTok and everything. And I found Hunter about a year ago and was, intrigued by the way you were presenting your Instagram tutorials, and I found little tips to be helpful, and I just felt like I needed a little more accountability and guidance, especially I was struggling with certain vowels and certain, of course, my range and everything. And I don't know, I guess it's about a year ago that we started together, and it's been amazing how the progress I've made. Just having the drills alone has been super helpful in building strength and building kind of awareness of how to use my voice and all of that. And I got you on in my car. Anytime I'm going somewhere, I'm just pressing play and singing along, so long as my wife's not in the car with me. And then what I find helpful is in the private sessions, we go through songs and find my struggle points. And, like one of them, that song Blue, I just played live for like really the first time the other day, and not only did it feel good, it sounded great, and I got a lot of compliments on the song too, which was really cool. It was like, you kind of get the validation when it's needed at the right time, right place and times. But I was struggling with that for about a year, and I left it completely and forgot about it, and then we just came up in another voice lesson. I think we started off with that, like one of our first voice lessons. And then I just brought it back to Hunter like recently, and I was like, hey, let's see if we can figure this out. And he gave me the puffy cheek exercise. And right before I sang the song. I just turned around from the mic and I was just like, and then I turned around and like sang the song and I was like, oh, it's perfect. I could like memorize the sound. So having those little tools, little techniques has been super helpful. Just even thinking about like the nay 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 exercises before singing something that I need a little more nasal for, and having all of those things in my toolbox has been great. And I love this portal too. I've just been chipping away at it for the last week that I've been a member here, and seeing what's on here, and seeing the group. I'd actually love to, you said have people see where they can find me, Spotify and all that other stuff. But I'd love to follow everybody else too in the community, and kind of see what you're doing. If you're putting out music on Instagram, feel free to send me a message or post it on one of my things where if you reply with your Instagram, I'll follow you so I can find you and keep up.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's like a school SKOL expert, but the whole gamification thing is very intriguing, and I haven't quite set that up for this group, but you can unlock things by like posting and all these different, you have these rewards for engaging to certain extents. And I would like to, it's another January goal is figuring out that process. But it's fun. Yeah. So I encourage everybody. Yeah, definitely drop your Instagram handle, and feel free to reach out. You touched on the puffy cheek thing. There was a question, or there was I think it was when I posted a snippet of a lesson one time on Instagram of someone else, and we did a quick thing with the crying mum. Kind of, and someone left a very intuitive comment, which is like, okay, that's cool, but I'm not going to be able to cry out a mum on the mic before the song, right? Like, or before the phrase, because effectively that's what we were doing. And so, of course, the long answer to that, or the short answer, I should say, is just building muscle memory, things like that. But you brought up a great point, and I do the same thing. That some of these tools literally can be pulled out like a few seconds before a phrase. The puffy cheek being a really good one. I was going to talk about the puffy cheek today. I'm totally cool with it. I'd rather actually stay on this topic and hear a little bit more from you. You've already shared a lot of great stuff. Perspective is great. I mean, I could sit here and talk every day and people are like, okay, that's cool, but I want to hear from somebody else, So thanks for coming. I can have you talk just a tiny bit more.
Sure.
So I'll save I was going to talk about the SOVT stuff. So I was actually going to talk about the puffy cheek, but less of a practical thing, more about the rehabilitation. It is, I'll just put it as a little side note, is that is one of my favorite exercises for if I've been out of practice, if I was sick for a while, if I needed to slow down for a week and now my voice feels weaker, or like, how can I get back to where I was when I was 100%? Without overdoing it or feeling like I'm risking injury or potentially making the problem worse. And I have talked about vocal fry as a good therapeutic exercise, which it is, but it's also one of I think you can tilt a little too far toward a squeeze, and if pretty quick, it's like, okay, that didn't feel great. And sometimes that'll be the case. And I don't want people to think like that means I have to shut up for another 24 hours, 48 hours. Like, no, there's other things you could do, and they might even be better than the vocal fry. Vocal fry is kind of dependent on, for me, like the time of day and how my voice feels. If it is for a recovery purpose, I especially want to do it more when I'm fully rested in the morning and not do it at night where it's more of a struggle to push through inflammation. We don't want to do that. But the puffy cheek gives us this... There was one line I'll read because I put some notes here. And again, I'll make a separate video on this. But puffy cheek, SOVT. SOVT exercises also refer to those straws. I think day 5 or 6 or 4 in the Kickstarter, I go into SOVT a little bit. But the puffy cheek being this exercise where the mouth is partially closed, creating back pressure on the vocal cords. This line right here, it's that they're effective for vocal rehabilitation and rebuilding vocal strength after time off because... And I like this. They create an ideal environment for the vocal folds to function efficiently and safely. So it's about creating that ideal environment. If we're somewhat inflamed, if we're fatigued, if we're tired and like, oh, I got to get back into shape. And we're like, okay, we're like pushing or squeezing or backing off, right? All sorts of things could happen. Puffy cheek gives us good conditions, good environment to vocalize. So even something like where I'm going into a head thing, but I can at least do this smoothly and comfortably through the range before increasing volume or force or push. So what I would say, or question for you, because we have looked at that puffy cheek quite a bit. How would you describe the feeling of hitting a note in a way that's like, something's wrong, or like but maybe it doesn't feel great or it doesn't sound great, whatever the reason is in your head, it's like something's a little off balance. And then the puffy cheek, when it is successful in helping, what changes for you? How does it feel?
Yeah. So what I found, or the utilization so far, and I'm sure it'll have more uses for me, but in particular, when there's a vowel and a high note that's kind of in that mixed voice range, but I want to hit it full voice. So if I'm wanting to hit it full voice, but it's in that tilt range, and it's in particular, I think the ooh
for like blue, right?
Yeah, blue, and I'm thinking the other vowels is an E, maybe. Where they don't have as much of a brightness in my personal. I don't know if that's like universal, but these vowels that don't have as much brightness for me, I can say, and I'm looking for that chesty brightness, mixed voice, but still chesty. But it's a little high for those, and I want it to sound like I'm like, almost saying ah, but with the ooh, right? And so what happens for me in that zone is I push too much to try to get the vibration to feel the same as it would with an ah vowel, that I can maybe reach that height, a higher note. And then pushing too much, I'm straining. It's either fatiguing like right away, or it just sounds terrible, or I can feel it's terrible, or it's not like it's just shaky. I can't quite hit it, or sometimes I just lose my voice really quickly, like immediately. It's like, oh man, I just can't hold on to that note, or a crack, whatever it might be. So then when I apply the puffy cheek, it feels stable. It has that little bit of a ping that I'm looking for that makes it feel or sound more chesty, from the nasal resonance. But I guess, you would be the one to answer this, but I'm assuming I'm pushing less air through the vocal cords because of that back pressure, and therefore the vocal cords can hold together stronger. Is that the case? Is that kind of what's happening?
Well, that was number 5 on my bullet list here of rebalancing breath support. Yeah, maybe I will just go ahead and paste all of this underneath. I don't have to go each number, but a lot of the issues when we encounter whether it's a strain issue, voice gets lost, or imbalance with tone or resonance, like you said, the airflow. A lot of the issues come from the mismatch between the breath pressure and the vocal fold tension. So we do these like to really feel the vocal fold tension, or we feel vocal fold tension. Not a bad thing, but vocal fold tension can become a bad thing. First of all, if it's too much, clearly, but if we push too much air, that the resistance is greater. Now we're squeezing harder. So you're precisely right. If you push too much air, the vocal folds are going to work harder to stay together. And depending on where you are in your range, that can result in, you might be able to get away with it for a night, but if it's some really high notes where the chords are stretched, because they should be, they're stretching as you go higher, there's just more strain, more tension that gets overdone. So with the puffy cheek, the notes that I put here is that it balances airflow and subglottic pressure. That's that pressure beneath the vocal folds. So they're hitting as it closes or abducts. And then it teaches the singer or speaker to regulate breath support more effectively, right, which is the obvious. One of the many things, like you said, many benefits or uses of this exercise, but just the obvious one of, if I open my mouth wide and yell, there's no added safety net to that outpour of air. So my vocal folds are it's all on them, right? Which is how we sing. That's how it should be. But if we're hitting some tough stuff, that becomes a more of a slippery slope if we're not, balanced with the airflow. So you put the puffy cheek there, the singing straw, even lip rolls. Humming obviously is kind of that effect too. It's just a little different because it puts more resonance up into the nose generally. Airflow
I
certainly.
feel like puffy cheek kind of gives me a little bit more like maybe lift of the soft palate. Like there's like a spaciousness that
it's just
happens.
open. Yeah, it opens up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whereas a hum, I can still kind of be,
It's like,
yeah.
gets stuck.
If I mean, obviously I'm trying to, but at the same time,
I got you.
you can't with that. You're just kind of opening up resonance in there that seems to maybe be of advantage.
That's right. Yeah. Well, and then the other thing is with the recovery and the rehab with the puffy cheek, and this is last thing I'll say about that is that you can find that these notes, like if I want to hit that note, not that high, it's a tough note for a lot of guys, that E4 range. But if I wanted to just sing it out like, whoa, and I might pull. So then it's like, okay, well, if I do an exercise, what if it's like, and it's like, well, okay, that's cute, but it's not like the voice yet. A puffy cheek gives me an opportunity to sing it full without, so I might not do it right away. If I'm warming up, I might stay head voice, right? Go light, go light. But eventually, and I encourage people to try this, you can sing it in your full voice, so to speak. You know, as you say, and now what is that? If I sneak out of the puffy cheek, back to the full voice with the same balance that I feel with the puffy cheek. I'm going to put you just a brief work here, just a brief work. If you give me the puffy cheek, just on that,
Yep.
we'll do that scale, the 1, 5, 3. So it's nice. And now I'm curious, we'll do it on the F. Go into the head voice at the top. So we go, nice. And I'll have you do it once through, it was just a little, the keyboard in the way. So try one more. Nice. And just for those listening too, like the whole idea here is that we are not belting out the note, which means the vocal cord, when we do it light, the vocal cords are they're kind of getting stretched and warmed up. It's okay if there's like breaks and stuff. Like we're just letting the voice kind of find its place for a second. That's what I'm trying to find, right? There it is. Yep. So now just insert a little bit more of that compression, make it feel like you would describe chest voice to be. And then just like sneak it in. Second time through, we'll go. This open vowel, nothing. Yeah, and if you could go like, whoa, I'm just warming you up with some of that stuff. See, that's cool. That's cool. So, I'm like flat every time, but that's okay. There it is. Yeah, and we're also on an F. I mean, you brought up, we've done this on the G sharp, the A, just those tougher kind of belted mixed notes that you were talking about. But I think I want people to practice the puffy cheek, like if you have a keyboard nearby, or you can like pluck some notes out on the computer if you don't have a keyboard. But do that octave thing, take it up note by note, but then explore like, okay, well, I can hit that note like I'm kind of belting, but then I can also kind of pull back and do it in head voice, and use the puffy cheek as sort of that, remember what we said, safe environment to practice all of this vocalization. It's why the singing straw is so popular, but if you don't have a straw nearby, you just puff out the cheeks.
It's interesting because, I had a rough singing weekend. I had a 4-hour gig on Saturday and a 2-hour gig yesterday as well. So hearing like, I did more today. So I've got that little bit of break there, and I'm kind of feeling, even just in this, thinking about doing the exercise, like the, just having that is already starting to obviously warm me up in the right direction. I can feel it.
You find the pocket.
Yeah, with the lack of connectivity right now, I think just the muscles being like in their rejuvenation mode. I can see how this would work really well.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm good to call it there. I'll get this one posted. This is probably one of the longer ones I've done so far, which is cool. I mean, when it's just me, I usually try to keep it at like 10 minutes for everyone, because I could always make a separate video and do more, more production value. So this is perfect. No, I appreciate you being here and offering a little bit of that, perspective. So what I'll do, I'll post underneath, people who are hearing this video right now, just take a look at the text underneath this video. I'm going to post some of these notes about SOVT exercises, how you can use the puffy cheek for vocal therapy, rehab, if you feel like you've been out of practice, or you just want to like get back into shape, maybe for the first time. You know, it's also a good exercise to get the voice balanced, regardless of the state that it was in prior. So
Cool, man. Thank you so
thanks
much.
for being here, Matt. All right, have a good rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow, right?
You too. Yep.
Take care.
Take
Bye.
care.